I've created a brand that really honors my Lakota, Dakota heritage.
What's so beautiful is you're building a brand that's everlasting.
I'm always thinking about being bold and being that warrior and just having that confidence.
It's giving protected on the inside and then just like boss on the outside.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Anjali. I'm really excited today because we are joined by K.Lookinghorse. As those of you who may know me or those of you who may not, I'm an Indigenous fashion beauty consultant. I support Native fashion brands in brand marketing, campaign planning, strategy, and honestly, all the hats. I've been really excited to be working with K.Lookinghorse for just over a year now, developing her brand, going on brand trips, producing shows, and the occasional makeup artist. So I'm really excited that you're here. Thank you so much for taking the time amongst all of the chaos of a beautiful market. It's really been an honor having you and being a part of the K.Lookinghorse journey. We're really coming up on a year now of New York Fashion Week. We debuted a full collection out there, and by we, I mean you. And it was just such an honor to be a part of that moment. How does it feel like where we are now, like a year later?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I am, just extremely grateful to be a part of a team that honors the creative aspects of kind of breaking through barriers within the fashion industry. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Kayla Lookinghorse Smith. I am a member of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. My brand is K.Lookinghorse. I'm based in Southampton, New York, and I've created a brand that really honors my Lakota, Dakota heritage from the Midwest, originally from North Dakota. And I think that what this year has brought me has just been so much, it's humbled me in so many ways because there's absolutely been challenges, but most of all, it's like creating those unforgettable connections and being able to share my designs more on a global scale because New York Fashion Week, Santa Fe, those are all opportunities for people from around the world to view,
Absolutely. I'd love to talk a little bit about how you got started. So before getting into all of the ready-to-wear pieces, all of the couture that we've developed, you started off doing regalia work and beadwork, no?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's a part of growing up in a traditional home, and they teach you, the ways of life. And a lot of that means that you're learning how to share that love. And what that love looks like for me and my family is creating beadwork, quill work, and sewing because you're thinking about that person, you're making it for, every day. And you're putting all your amazing energy, your good energy, and your love into that. So to take that and transcend that into design, I started with ready-wear, and the ready-wear was, very accessible and just having a vision of what we can do to break barriers and what is honorable for us as not just people, not just Indigenous people, but people of the earth. And for me, I was like, that is sustainability. We belong on the forefront of what that looks like. So just having a vision of okay, I did this, now let's explore this option. So it's always exciting to take those different creative avenues.
Mm-hmm. So when it comes to incorporating those traditional elements from your heritage into your current designs and where you're headed next, how do you maintain that traditional elements while also empowering in a way that's accessible to more than just Indigenous people?
Yeah, it's making clothing that is very versatile. So very, we have the blazers on and we have our bomber jackets on, which are very monochromatic, and I feel like it speaks to a wide range of people. And I wanted that to speak to the two worlds that we walk in as Indigenous people because we honor who we are and where we come from, but we also navigate the modern careers that we all, take on. And I think that when it comes to the spaces of representation, for me, I want to be able to see just a very strong silhouette, monochromatic, but who we are and where we come from is basically inside, it's inherent. So my liners in all of my pieces are with my signature lining that honors my family, and it has all these elements of like vibrant colors that just like, talk to all of our like passions, endeavors, like what we do, who we are, like, it's just, it's being bold and it's taking that next step.
It's giving protected on the inside and then just like boss on the outside.
Yeah.
I think what's also really cool is how inclusive a lot of the pieces are, especially in these newer collections. I've seen like when we styled this bomber and the jacket, we've seen it on men, women, and two-spirit. And I think it's so beautiful that your collections are so versatile like that, especially in the direction that we're heading in fashion. And just as Indigenous people, we really do empower, like gender is a spectrum. I think it's really cool to see that. Like we've seen now this on Chef Sean Sherman. We've seen this on Eric Hernandez, Cara Jade. And I think it's so beautiful to see like the versatility of the people wearing it and how they style it. I think before I even got to work with your brand, you said something that really stuck with me. And I started off as an Indigenous model. Like, so for those of you who may know my channel and like the things that I do, most of my content centers around my modeling experience. And that's how I got introduced to you. And I've always had a really hard time finding pieces that I felt confident in. And I remember the first time getting styled by you, I was like, I'm a curve model. Like sometimes clothes are really hard to find. And I'm not a traditional stereotypical look, and to be selected was such an honor. And I remember when you were styling me, you were talking about how you style for the Indigenous body. Our women are broader, we're very empowered. I have a wider waist, I have a wider rib cage. And I think it's really beautiful how you think about the silhouettes and our community members as you're designing. And I think as you look ahead, how do you see that evolving and continuing to incorporate that inclusivity?
Absolutely, because for me, what's important in honoring First Peoples bodies is taking into consideration where we come from, and a lot of that speaks to strength, that inherent strength of like what our bodies are designed to do, hunt and fish, and for me, like as a designer, I was like, I want to be able to first dress my people because we are the first faces that they see, and that representation for me is so important. And also being very like welcoming. I come up from a very traditional family, and we like to honor all people, all faiths, one religion. I have so much respect for my uncle, Arvel Lookinghorse, who's the 19th generation keeper of the sacred white buffalo calf pipe. And I think that for me, that's like the guiding force behind my brand. And so I'm always thinking about what is important when it comes to representation, and being bold and being that warrior and just having that confidence. So I think just as the brand designer, you are your brand's representation. So I always like to make sure that everybody can see that it's so versatile, it's welcoming, and there's no exclusivity here. It's all inclusivity. And it's just an amazing, projection to share.
I think what's so cool is how much you've really changed the game in terms of like the Indigenous fashion experience. And I love how you talk about like, we are all inclusive and we're all empowering, we're all welcoming. Because I think something that was so unique about your runways early on, and something I still see you incorporate, is you pull in performers, you pull in people from different backgrounds. I think my first show I walked with you, we had Chef Piet, and I think it's so cool to see how you have these elements of storytelling where I think we started off New York Fashion Week with a smoke dancer, with fancy dance, and then we went into couture, and getting to really set the tone is so amazing. And I think that's something so beautiful about building that brand experience.
Oh yeah, it's balanced because we are all so creative, and I wanted a brand to have representation from the music to the makeup to the production and the creative direction. Like I am just so grateful for the community that I've been able to be a part of. And, like our good friend, PJ Vegas, who has done significant work in producing custom tracks, MC1, Defi, everybody that has been influential in my brand growth. And I think that it's not just me, that is doing this, it's we. And I've always held that in high regard to moving forward and taking that next step and what we need to look towards when it comes to Native fashion, which for me is going to be sustainability and always being community driven.
Yeah, being able to even have this conversation. Like, I'm so grateful to Indigenous House for empowering us to like be able to speak about your brand more, getting to speak about all of the ways that we're pouring into sustainability and growth in Indigenous fashion. You're doing so much behind the scenes that like, yeah, we see what's on social media, and social media is fast, it's quick, it's what's tomorrow. And I think what's so beautiful is you're building a brand that's everlasting. You have pieces that these are so versatile. I think designing with that intention is so huge, and you're really pushing it at the forefront of like sustainable fashion and high fashion at that.
Thank you.
just giving you her flowers.
I will take them. No, I'm kidding.
I think that's like something so beautiful too about the energy that you set in the spaces of like K.Lookinghorse, not just like as a brand, but like also you can tell like when we step on set, the vibes are up. And sometimes we have a call and it's like, some of the vibes are good.
Yeah.
But I think it's that confidence and that empowerment, like as you said, like we walk into these spaces with a lot on our shoulders, and we're telling a lot of stories of our culture and our community and giving that space while also just bringing good energy. Every time we enter a new runway, new space, the new faces that we get to work with, I think pouring all that positivity really sets the tone for your collections. And I think that's just so amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so what is some stuff coming up? What do we have next?
Oh, we have an exciting photo shoot. Actually, we're going to be doing at Eve's Movie Ranch. We have horses, and I think that it's important to really speak to Dakota Plains people, horse people. I'll be bringing out my one-of-a-kind, fully beaded corset and belt, and really try to, create some elegant Western glam. Don't forget to follow K.Lookinghorse on Instagram. I have a website, K.Lookinghorse.com. And of course, checking out Indigenous House, who is on the forefront of highlighting creatives in a Gen Z meets, modern day warrior.
I know it's amazing to have these spaces for more storytelling, that people get a look behind the scenes of your collections, of your stories. And I'm really excited to be working with like Indigenous House to empower those type of conversations and pushing the media that people are really looking for. More Indigenous voices, more Indigenous representation in all avenues. So this is amazing.
Yeah. And don't forget to remember that Indigenous House's first look. Well, I love you, and thank you so much for having me. Thank you to the Indigenous House as well.
Make sure to click and subscribe to Indigenous House and Anjali to continue to have these conversations of Indigenous fashion and to follow my journey as we continue to tread forward.